Okay, let's open the meeting of the Lloyd's County Council, and we'll start with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's start out here with the approval of the minutes for June 17th. I think they were all sent out to us. Anybody got any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Motion to approve minutes.
Second.
So got a first and a second, any discussion? Otherwise, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So they are approved. And then we'll start the meeting with Whitney.
Okay,
If you could introduce yourself.
absolutely. I am Whitney Lubers. I'm with Du Bois County Tourism Commission and visit Du Bois County. So with that, I gave you guys just a little packet. It has kind of the agenda of what I was going to be going over today, as well as I did want to include our 2024 report. That was the beginning of the year. We went over the 2023 accomplishments, what goals we have, and kind of the different boards we stand on and such. So I wanted you guys to have a copy of that. And then this last one is our report that kind of talks about focus areas, the project. It's like kind of an all-in-one piece with the back showing our staff and our board members, as well as ways to sign up for our newsletter. This Visit Du Bois County newsletter, that's one of our leisure newsletter. That's what we send out to different interested parties for Du Bois County. And then the Tourism Initiative newsletter, that is what we work on, what we're working on. So it says like the different advertisements, different things like that. So with that, I can kind of dive in if you guys are good with that. Significant tourism growth in Du Bois County. So we receive our 2022 information so we're always 2 years behind. So in the beginning of this year, we received our 2022 information from Rockport Analytics. So with that, they gave us a report card, and it kind of ranks us in different areas. So for tourism spend per capita is our top ranking, which is number 14 out of 92 counties. And our county ranking tourism spend is 25 of 92. We've been kind of holding steady with those 2 numbers, so we are ranked pretty consistently in that top 25 and top 14 type of level. We did have a huge growth year. So for 2022, we had a 16.5% increase in our tourism spend, which is our total tourism spend is $117 million for 2022. That's what the data shows us. So you can kind of see over the years where we've been at. That is in this little area here. So 16.5% increase compared to 2021. And then you can kind of see in the last 8 years, we've been having, we had a total of 59.8% increase. So everything's been steadily increased. Obviously, we got to take out 2020. That was a tough year for us. So you can kind of see that's where the one, that's where the one decline was compared to 2019 and 2020 with the pandemic. So you kind of see where we were historically, really seeing some good traction. I know our total innkeepers collection, when comparing 2021 to 2022, we had an 18.3% increase. And this last year, at the end of the year, we fell out at 2.4% on top of that. So we continue to do an increase even with that standout year. We're pretty proud to continue our increases from there. This year, we have no exception of increases. We are on track for a steady increase. We are really seeing good revenue so far in our innkeepers revenue. Our goals and key performance indicators, you can kind of see where we were. This is the little list of accomplishments and stuff. I'll kind of let you look over that at your leisure. I will kind of let you know that our web traffic has been steadily increases throughout the years. I think we really developed a great plan with working on a website refresh followed by a digital audit. And then they gave us a 150-page booklet that we've been working towards and continuing with the list of priorities from start to finish. We've been going extensively through that book. And then we did the SEO last year, a big SEO push, and this year a paid search. So we really got the right things in place. We ended the year in 2023 with a 19% increase in users and a 25% increase in engagement. So people are staying longer. We're not getting a lot of bounces. People are enjoying what we have. And this year so far, we've already had a 47% increase in users and a 66% increase in engagement. So it's really working, the things that we're doing for our website traffic. So that was just kind of some highlight there. A highlight there. We did have a goal of a 10% increase, which we are blowing that goal up through the water. So we continue to have increases. Things are working really well. We've done 2 RFPs so far to bring some different medias and tournaments to our area. So we did some different proposals out of our office. We are working on a 3rd now too. And so with that, we're really trying to generate some activity in Du Bois County. So I can kind of go over our little focus areas here. We obviously have our new visitor center. We have our signage finally, and we are working on completing our wayfinding kiosk throughout our wayfinding signage, and we already did our kiosk. Our wayfinding signage throughout the 3 major towns and cities. So predominantly Jasper, Huntingburg, Bergen. 19 wayfinding signs. 16 of them will have artwork on the back. So we'll have commissioned artwork on the left-hand facing side. So we're kind of excited about that new initiative. Completion is right now scheduled by end of 2024. Our hard deadline is April of 2025. That is through NDOT. So you will be seeing signs here very soon. We're very excited about that. We are continuing our visitor's guide. So every year we develop our new visitor's guide, and then we match our kiosks throughout the communities that have the same look as our visitor's guide. We change out annually to keep a fresh look. And on top of the regular visitor's guide, we are working with Lassie and Rosina specifically. She is translating it. She already gave us the 2024 version. She'll be working on the 2025 to have a Spanish version. So we will be having a Spanish version of our visitor's guide. We'll do a small print of that as well as have it available digitally. So we're really excited about that inclusion project. We obviously want people to stop in our visitor center. We've been seeing some pretty steadily increases with those concierge services, those one-on-one conversations. Still want that to grow some more. So we are working on some different ways to bring people in, whether it be our coupon books or different things like that, to make them want to come to the visitor center and actually have those conversations with us so we can help elongate stays. We love being in the foot traffic area of the downtown. A lot of our partners will just stop in. It really is great for communications. It's really worked out well for us. We worked on, for our marketing and branding, we do want a consistent brand. We want a similar look for our visitor's guide, website, different places like that. We want to instantly be recognizable as Du Bois County. And so we also work on paid search, digital, social media, content and marketing. That is through the roof. We've been doing really good with our social media campaigns. Very little cents. It was below 10 cents a click. I mean, it's been really great results. People are liking what we're doing. We had the right target audience. Visit Indiana actually recently saw some of our ads, liked it so much they decided to use it for their campaigns. So it's like, okay, great. So things are really working well with our advertising. And we do continuously partner. Visit Indiana is a huge partner for us. We did decide to put some money in co-op ads with them. So for this year, we did a big spring campaign with Visit Indiana alongside our other initiatives that we've done every other year. So a pretty big increases with the spring campaign. The cost was $15,000 for the co-op. Discover Southern Indiana said they split that with us. So the cost of us was only $7,500. Discover Southern Indiana came in at $7,500, and Visit Indiana came up $15,000. So total, we paid $7,500 for a $30,000 campaign. It was great. It was wonderful. We definitely will be doing that again. We do partner with Discover Southern Indiana quite a bit, and they're partnered with French Lick. We've been really good partners with them as well. French Lick, they did the summer campaign, which is a higher spend. They paid $25,000 and partnered with Discover Southern Indiana. And they decided to include Patoka Lake and Strassenfest on part of their campaigns as well. So we are seeing some additional increases with their cooperation as well. We cooperate with Holiday World, bringing some different influencers and the Holobloggers. We have a really great relationship with them. We know that people are visiting French Lick and Holiday World, and we want to be a part of that story. So we continue to do that. We, our visitors guide, we do a print of 70,000. We give them to all the area schools, send them home with the students, as well as we work with Tourist Information Services. They help distribute them for us, so about half of them go to Tourist Information Services. And our goal is to get every last copy gone. We do not want to take any to the recycle bin, so we want to have a minimum of a box left. So that's it. We really want to push hard on that initiative. Grant writing is a part of what we do. This last year, through different grants that I helped in this partnership and helped write, we received, we were awarded $52,000 outside Du Bois County funds. $10,000, one project, we did not win the proposal, but we still brought in $42,000 for different initiatives. That is outside of Du Bois County dollars. So we're really proud of that, and we want to continue doing those things to bring outside dollars to our area. So we're part of a lot of things. With that, I can give you this list here. Kind of says who the person is within our office with our list of relationships. So I'll just quickly go through those. We have staff that are part of these, which include 4-H Council, Destination Huntingburg, Destination International, the Downtown Merchants, both Huntingburg, Jasper, and Fergus. I should say all three, not both, but Discover Southern Indiana, Du Bois County Chamber, Du Bois Strong, Explore Southern Indiana, Heart of Jasper, IDDC, which is Visit Indiana, Holiday World, Indiana Foodways Alliance, Indiana Tourism Association, Indiana State Festivals Association, Jasper Chamber, Patoka Lake Area Year Round, Red, White, and Brown Music Festival, Rojack, and Cermak. And then we did add Team Indiana / Indiana Sports Corp to that list as well. And they've been really great sponsors and partners for different events that we've had. We know that with only a 3-person staff, it takes a lot of collaborations to make a big difference. So we work towards those collaborations, making sure we understand where these organizations are at and where we fit in best. We do have DC Multi-Sport as a part of Du Bois County Tourism's initiatives. So that puts on the Heartland events, the different cabin fever hikes, a new kayak hike, the color run, the Parkland 6-hour endurance relay, the Strassenfest bike ride, and the pickleball tournaments. Those are the events that DC Multi-Sport does. And all of those do have a charitable aspect. So with that, we were able, we just reached a $300,000 threshold that we were able to give back to charities this last year. So really proud of those initiatives. The sponsors are a big help for that. Without the sponsorships in our community giving to those different events, there's no way that would have been possible. So we feel very fortunate to be in the area we are, that so many businesses give back. So it's very important. You can kind of see the past and future projects in new events. I use the same one, so I just add to this list. So you've probably seen these before. For the bottom there, 2023 and 2024, the 2024 eclipse was huge for us. We did not see the traffic that we expected. We had no idea what to expect, to be completely honest. There was a lot of unknowns involved. We did decide to take a big initiative. We did hire a coordinator, as well as took on a lot of the ownership of the eclipse for our county. And with that, we did have over 1,000 rooms rented in our county during those times. So we had a 160% increase during the course of the eclipse. So for lodging, it was a huge plus. We did note that the locals, the regional people and the local people, they did stay home. So with that, it was only visitors spending that weekend. So it looked a little low in people going to shops, restaurants. Those were actually down a little bit because the locals did not come out. But the lodging was definitely there, and we definitely seen the visitors. we are excited to see and hopeful to see an increase in visitors that saw our destination for the first time through the eclipse. We do know of one case where we had visitors from Hawaii. They fell in love with Huntingburg, and they are now moving to Huntingburg, Indiana. So we know that is happening. So that was pretty great to know. Our historical data shows that once someone visits Du Bois County, they'll come back 4 times over the next 2 years. I don't know if that's true with the eclipse crowd, but it'd be nice to see if that kind of helps with the influx of visitors on something that, while we marketed and everything, we had no control over where that total eclipse was going to end up at. So all around, it was a positive experience. Everyone was safe, logistic, no issue. And the events did come out ahead, all the events, because we were a little worried how they would do, and they did come out ahead. So it was good. And like I said, on the back here, I'll kind of just read who we are and who's involved. It's myself as the executive director. Jessica Lindauer is our sales and marketing. Heather Wire is our sales and marketing as well. Board members include Rachel Steckler, our board president, Jim McFall, our board vice president, Mary Clem, board treasurer, Kurt Vonderheide, our board secretary, Shelby Gidley, Chris Treader, and then Kim Fisher started new with us this year, and then Hemong Shaw as our advisory member. And like I kind of mentioned, if you guys want to be a part of these, just scan, you can be a part of them. I did miss one important thing. I didn't read all these either. But the Du Bois County, I should see what time. Yeah, I'll just say one more thing. The Du Bois County Tourism Capital Improvement Fund, that is a new initiative for us. I did send it out to everyone. We're really excited to see what kind of proposals come in, and we hope that brings some tremendous growth to tourism in our area. So that's all I have for you guys. Sorry I talked a little long.
I have one question.
Yeah.
So the SEO has been real successful.
Yes.
Have you guys thought about, or maybe you already are, geofencing like Holiday World for targeted ads?
So we are looking in 2025 to do some Placer AI, it's called. We want to focus on seeing where people are coming from. We have done geofencing before. It wasn't as strong of numbers as what some of our other advertising has been, but we might have to mess with the formula a little bit. We haven't done it this year. In the past, we did do some geofencing. So I'm not opposed to going back and seeing what that could be. I do want to get Placer AI though. So Placer AI is a lot of DMOs have that. It gives you detailed information where people are coming from, where they're stopping at before or after a specific area. And it will help all these organizations. We are going to be able to allow it to be shareable to the Heart of Jasper, Destination Huntingburg, the Jasper Chamber. And if anyone would like any kind of information, we would share that. So I would like to see where that's at and see where people are coming from. And then maybe it can be help with our targeting. But we have done geofencing. I'm not saying we want it again.
I just know that Holiday World, you can target so many, or so much reach, and you got a good relationship with them.
Yeah, yeah.
Any other comments, Whitney? Well, thank you, Whitney, for coming in.
Thank you all. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Next, Carla, are you ready? So
Sure.
a little bit late.
That's all right. I enjoy hearing everything that's going on.
So
Good to have
if you
Whitney
could
in the home.
introduce yourself to the public.
Carla Striegel Winter, Du Bois County Solid Waste Management District. So guys, today I am on as the Solid Waste District budget, but I'm not here to talk about the entire budget, just a really small part of our budget. I'm here specifically to talk about one position that we have, our operations manager, which is one of our 3 full-time employees. I have it highlighted there on the job classifications. Oh, and tell me I did not make a copy for myself. That's okay. I can do that.
You want this? You can.
No.
I think I've got it.
I've got it here. You're good. Thank you. So basically, we're just we're just specifically talking about our operations manager position, which is classified as an LTC 5, which is fine. If you do look at that, that's the only position that is sort of a manager or management position that's in that. With the other, basically the other three are highway department folks, so truck driver, equipment operator, bridge laborer, and we've got operations manager. So that operations manager actually not only makes sure that everything is going okay at the process center, the person also needs to be cross-trained to drive all of our routes, which is the position of our route driver and assistant. So the person is cross-trained to do that while the route driver is on vacation or otherwise, off on his PTO time. And they're also have to know the entire process center attendant position, which is a part-time position, and do that and fill in with that and supervise those folks. And then they also help me with administrative stuff and are the second in charge when I'm gone on vacation. So it is kind of a big job. So what I'm asking, and I had, so when I went to my board, which Sonia's on the board, I went to my board and I said, what I'd really like to be able to do in 2025 is to have the capability of paying that position at the max pay. Okay. So the max pay on that is $24.35. All right. So I said I would really like to have the capability. Of course, I know I can't have that capability without the board being in support of that. Then I go to the commissioners. The commissioners then approve my budget as well and approve the allotment that we get from the county. And then, of course, I have a bonding review from the county council. Also, since we do have the salary ordinance, it has to follow with that. So I've gone through my board approved for this to be asked for. The commissioners then also, by way of approving the allotment, they're also on my board, approved this, and I did request that as my 2025 to pay this position at $24.35. So that doesn't mean that I'm definitely, as soon as 2025 hits, gonna pay that person $24.35, but I would like the capability to do that. We do ask for that position to have a CDL, and CDL folks usually, get paid at a higher rate than that. So we just hired somebody, our person that we have for the past 2 years left, and just hired somebody who started today. And she does have a CDL and a lot of heavy equipment experience. She also has a degree, associate's degree in accounting, as well as business management. So I want to make sure that I can retain good quality people. I talked to Marky about this before I even approached my board about it. And when we were kind of going through, we're going to be hiring this position again, that to expect that type of responsibility out of someone, that's a lot to ask of one person, and they can get, better offers elsewhere. I try to be very flexible with my staff, and of course, I go over all of the wonderful benefits that we have as county employees. But that extra little bit, which would be about 26. Let's see, 2,567. So $2,567 difference. If I were to pay at the max pay in 2025, then if I were to pay at that position right now is at $22.49. So with the 2%, my max would be $22.94 in 2025 if I wasn't allowed to go to that max pay. Again, not saying I'll go straight to that max pay, but I would like to be able to have the capability of that going forward. So that's what I'm asking for. is, just that small amount to be able to have that capability, so. Questions?
I guess the one I have is this lady or the person you hired today, is she expecting this?
She hasn't heard a word about it, no, I haven't said anything at all.
We have to make, we probably.
Is this something we're gonna address during budget time here, at the next meeting?
I don't know, how did you put the increase in your budget when you,
Increase is already in the budget, my board has already approved the budget, so the increase is already in our budget. And the, commissioners have already approved the county allotment, which covers $258,000 of our budget.
And that would be sufficient to.
It's all covered. Yeah, it's all covered as long as you guys approve the budget, it would go through, but I can't pay any higher than that max amount, because of the salary ordinance. So it's basically, I'm asking for the salary ordinance, change. So, so my budget, as far as everything budget-wise, is gonna be fine going forward. I don't need to change anything in that budget. It's already been accounted for in the budget.
her employees are in the commissioner's budget?
That's what I thought.
You mentioned this position as the only manager position in the LTC 5 category. And you mentioned all the responsibilities. Were you looking into or thinking about changing that or wanting to get that changed? Because when we did the wage study, how many years ago was that we did that wage classification or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, that was
It's interesting
quite a while
that
back.
it was put in this category if there's that much more responsibility.
I know, I was kind of surprised when I looked at what other positions were in there, that there weren't any other like manager looking positions in there. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine, I would be fine, leaving it in that, but if the council felt like it needed to be looked at to switch that out, or I don't know how, if you guys do that, or if Marky looks at that now, I know it was council, like.
Has the job requirements changed in the last
Are
few
you-
years?
Are you saying you want to go to a LTC
That was.
different number or
No.
just the top of the range at
I am
LTC 5?
saying that I'm fine in the LTC 5, but I would like to be able to have the ordinance show that I can max pay at $24.35 an hour.
So it's
Then
not
what was
going,
brought up is, are we sure?
No,
that we
because
don't
she
wanna-
said that was the only one, and I was just wanting to
Yeah,
figure out.
I'm not asking to
Right.
up
I was
that
just
into another.
wondering, has the job
category.
requirements changed to where there's been more put on since we did the study and they put them into that category?
I
Because
don't
that's what they use, right?
think
They use
so.
like
and
job
that's-
requirements and all that stuff to originally put people in the
Yeah.
category,
I
so.
think that's the thing is people are in a category, but they're kind of stuck in the middle when they can't get moved up. That's the question. Can you move them up in the wage range?
Well,
They're in
yeah,
the
she
middle.
said she just,
Yeah.
there's just a brand new hire, so that would start at the bottom or wherever their job
No,
skills.
I am paying
put
that,
them, yeah.
I'm paying that person at the max pay that I have allowed now, which is $22.49 is the pay that I'm paying at that person now. So they aren't starting at the $20.69. That's a range.
Okay, yeah,
And
well, yeah, I
then
know
we
that.
add whatever percent to that range, and then I know that I don't have to start at that, each year.
Right.
But so it's, so,
I think it would be best if we just, handle it during the budget period of time. I don't see
Okay.
any real objection here. I
Okay.
think it's one of those
Okay.
things that
okay.
she
And you-
seems very qualified for the job. I have to say that.
And, I need to, it's not just this person, it's the position. So
Right.
if
In the
I,
next position,
Yeah.
if something would happen, she would leave or
Right.
something, then the next position may not be at the top of the scale,
Right.
So.
and when I went through this, I didn't know, who was gonna be hired, if they would have a CDL or not. So I do kind of feel like if someone has a CDL, maybe it would be good to bump it up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll-
So I'm not saying I wouldn't, I'm not saying I would or wouldn't, but I would like to have the capability of doing that if I felt like it was, if the person was
And
qualified.
that's something we can do with this body.
Yeah.
With this.
So, Sandy, so then, like, I've already turned this in as my request with the 2435. Does any of that, like, salary ordinance stuff go before budget
When they do
times?
the budget, they'll say yes or no to higher pay in there, and then we'll put it on.
Okay,
So you
okay.
should be, it's already requested.
this has already been requested,
So-
okay, so,
You
and
should-
then, so what date is that then, that goes?
It's the August 12th.
Okay.
August 12th.
And see, the
Okay.
commissioners present your budget.
I think I'm gonna be out of town at a conference August 12th, but
You don't need.
I can't
And
remember.
and I think that's why we
Okay.
had you come in earlier.
come in early,
That's
so,
fine. You don't necessarily have to be here.
okay. I usually try to be here,
We'll
but,
make note of it.
all right, alright.
So-
Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Appreciate you coming in this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very
We'll
much.
definitely entertain this, during the budget hearing meeting.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thanks for.
Okay, Amy.
Hello, brought some materials for you. Handing you a packet with some historical data. So I'm Amy Kim, Brock County Clerk, here to talk about future election equipment. What I handed you on the top is a letter from Microvote. They're our current election vendor. They are the one that we buy our equipment from. I brought you our current setup so you can see it over here on the side. They sent this letter out a month or so ago and said that several county clerks have asked about the longevity of the equipment that we have, that we use here too, it applies. And I've asked that question year over year because it's a big purchase whenever that time comes. We originally bought the voting machine, we call it an infinity panel, it's the thing that you actually press the buttons on that chooses your candidates. We bought those pieces of equipment in 2003. In 2015 or 16, we did an upgrade to those units. They got a new processor, a new screen, new firmware, and security inside of that machine. They say the life of the machine is about 10 years. So between when we bought them and when we did the upgrade, we got 13 years out of them. We are on year 8 currently. So we don't need equipment right now, but we are going to need equipment, in my opinion, before the midterm comes. The election in 2 years. We don't have an election next year unless something special pops up. The reason they're recommending to get equipment or to start thinking about it is because when those machines have problems, so when they come and program our machines for every election, they inspect the machine to make sure everything is working and it's functionable. Every time we have at least one machine that has a problem, they either have to take it back and fix it, or they can fix it on site. But at this point, they're using used parts. So they'll take our unit and they'll fix it, or if they can't fix it, they'll give us a different one. And then they'll take that machine that they took from us and they'll use it for parts. So it's working and it's fine. The machines are secure. They will perform and they'll be accurate through the process currently. But we do need to buy new machines. So they, on the very back of your packet, you'll see I printed and gave you a picture of what the Rev E machine looks like. It is smaller than that panel considerably, but it does fit in that machine, that box, and it works with all of that equipment. It's not brand new. Other counties have already bought this machine. Spencer County uses the new machines. There's several that got some with HAVA grant funds this past year. But I asked for a quote. If we needed to replace everything right now, what's the price? So you'll see that on the next page. It's $268,800. That's the price of getting that machine replaced. Microvote recognizes that that's a large purchase. They will work with counties and split it into 2 years. So it doesn't go in my regular budget. It's for you to determine where and how that money comes from. I just need to know when you would like to budget it.
all the contracts, the other stuff in that packet is the other contracts from when we bought the equipment originally and when we did the revision or the upgrade in 2015. So it's not a requirement right now. I did have a conversation with Mike several weeks back and talking about how to go about what's the next steps on this. Microvote will break it into 2 years. If people have a problem budgeting that large of an amount, they'll let you budget half of it next year and pay half of the bill next year, and then the balance of it in 2026, and then deliver the machines before the primary in 2026. Or if you want to budget it all in 2026, that's fine. But in my opinion, from when we need the machines, we need them in 2026. We need to take delivery February or March so we can get everything set up and then programmed for that election. So I don't know if you have any questions about election equipment or your thoughts on the subject.
Thanks for all the historical information, because not all of us would have been here. I mean,
Well,
trust what you're
those are
saying,
my-
but it's
yeah.
nice to see the actual.
Those were my first questions, like how long does it last, and like, should I be concerned about the security of it right now? And that's definitely a no. Like, would the equipment be fine for 26? Yeah, I think at this point I might say it might be okay, but if we don't have any parts to fix problems, we'll lose machines, and then we won't have machines to put out for people to vote on.
You would have to, so the impact would be to reduce the number
Yeah.
of sites then.
Or it would cause
well,
longer
fewer
lines at every
machines at
site.
each
We would see how many machines we lose, and the security factor is more important in my mind, knowing that it's not vulnerable for problems to arise inside the firmware.
Are those, are they of any value sooner than later? You know, if you did it in 10 years versus 8, I mean, is that worth $50, $100? Are they not?
That machine
These
doesn't
older machines.
have, no,
Nobody wants them, nobody buys them?
nobody's allowed to have them. From an election administrator security standpoint, by code, you're not allowed. That equipment will go back to Microvote.
No trade in.
No value there, huh?
There's no value.
Then they'll,
It's a good question,
then
but
they'll
it's,
take them for parts for somebody else.
it's not allowed to go to anyone other than election equipment usage. We had, as an example, we had knowing pole pads that we replaced a couple years ago. I tried to use those. We tried to donate a couple to CASA. We tried to donate some to SWITAC. It's not allowed. We traded them in through the election process and got $15 each one. It was very disappointing, but it was based on code. That's what's allowed to, because it's election equipment.
Yeah.
It can't be compromised.
So
We don't
they'll
want
give
to,
us 0 for them?
we don't want to put it in the wrong hands. What'd you say?
They will give us nothing for
They
the
give
100
us
we have?
nothing. They take it away.
So we have 96 currently.
We have 96 machines.
That's what you're asking to. be
Yes,
replaced.
yes. I would recommend one-time purchase. We have the VVPAT that's in that booth with it. We have 36 that were the initial free ones that the state paid for initially, and then we got 90 some more later, and they're a different model. They all work fine, but they changing out the paper and functionality of them when we have to deal with things with that machine, it's a hassle.
But we could do a one-time purchase and pay it over 2 years.
Yes, yes. So no decisions have to be made tonight, but just so you know, the number is coming.
And then what are the chances of there being major changes in 2 years from now when we buy them now?
The machines, the Rev E machines is the newest machine that Microvote has on the market, and I don't see them making another new machine. If they would do the same, like how we bought this machine in 2003, and 13 years later we did an upgrade, it'll be this Rev E for some number of years.
Now, this one that we're buying, when was it released?
I don't know the exact year. If I had to guess, I'm gonna say it's been out on the market for at least 3 years, or that counties have been purchasing it for at least 3 years that I know of.
Is this something we need to take quotes from other
No.
companies or?
I say no because we're just replacing a part of our setup. If we had to take quotes for the whole thing, we would buy the Infinity panel, the VVPAT, and the case. The Infinity panel is $2,800. The whole unit as itself is probably $7,500. We could compare and go to a different vendor, but it's not my recommendation. Microvote is very good as far as customer service. Their product is really good. Everybody has to pass certification to get allowed to be able to sell equipment in the state of Indiana. But in my opinion, it's the best equipment on the market. And they have 67 counties, 62 or 67 counties in the state of Indiana with their equipment.
And you think that the rest of this
So,
apparatus will be good for another 10 years?
yes,
So that's basically 720,000 minus the 268, so it would be another $400,000.
the case is brand new. That's everything is housed in. We just got those this past year. The VVPAT doesn't have any software in it. It's just a roll of paper that rolls when the voting machine is used. So it's less likely to have anything that needs an upgrade inside of it.
I was just taking your 7,500 times 96 and 720,000, so just trying to do some comparison.
I don't know when we would, decide on this. My only thoughts are, investing the money that we, paying someone 150-some thousand. I know inflation's gonna probably, in 2020, if we buy them in 2026, we would have the earning power on that $150-some thousand now, versus giving it to a company.
Now,
Right.
Right.
That's why I in some ways, I guess, and then you answered the question about the equipment becoming obsolete, or, that, we'd have to do upgrades right away before we, so I don't know, I mean, that's my thoughts. I just don't know if we'd be better with the money in the bank.
future value money.
Right, versus doing this and then just buying them, because there's a lot of talk about voting changing, national elections. So, I mean, I just feel it may be wise to sit back at this point and
What type, I agree with Mike, what type of lead time though are there possibly on stuff like this?
Well, I suppose it would make a difference on how many other counties are placing orders. If
I mean, if
we need the equipment in 2026, is my opinion. That's my opinion. It's only a matter of when the machines start failing that it is an absolute have to. But
Is
it's,
there a
But how
reason
long
to
does
do
it take normally to get an order if you place an order now?
I would say 6 months or more.
Okay.
So 2025, we could make this decision next summer and still be ready for the 2026.
I could confirm with Microvote what they could give me a better answer than me guessing.
New training, or same,
No,
no training.
no more than addition to what we do every year before elections today. Because it would function just the same. It's basically the same for the voter. It just has a little different
The
look to it.
back end of the encryption or whatever.
It operates the same. Yeah. So I'll get more information from Microvote on a lead time or what their opinion is on placing orders, and if we wanted it in 2026, when would we have to commit, or that type of conversation, then I could share that one over.
let's do that.
That's a good idea.
If other questions come up between now and some other future time, but it's just something to think of and know that dollar figure is coming.
Okay, well, thank you, Amy, for
Yeah.
bringing
Thank you.
You're welcome.
that to us.
Thanks.
Thanks for the
Come and get my machine.
demonstration here too. the
That's
machine.
fine. Can you provide me what you gave them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, next to Chad Joyce.
All right, good evening. Good evening, I thank you for your time on the council agenda tonight, I really appreciate it. My name is Chad Blessinger, I serve as the president of the DuBois County Commissioners. And but today I'm here simply as a grateful citizen. And the goal tonight is just to recognize an exceptional fellow Hoosier. I want to ask Mr. Lindar to come up. State Representative Shane Lindar is here with me. I want to thank State Rep. Mr. Lindar here and State Senator Messmer and Governor Holcomb for helping to make this possible. State of Indiana, through the governor, honors exceptional Hoosiers and contributors to the state. The Distinguished Hoosier is one of those awards, and it's been awarded by governors for more than 50 years to recognize outstanding Indiana residents. The Distinguished Hoosier is meant for those who distinguish themselves in significant contributions to their communities and whose qualities and actions endear them to the hearts and minds of Hoosiers. It is my honor to present this award to DuBois County Council President Mike Kleesner today.
Awesome.
The Distinguished Hoosier Award is one of the highest tributes given out by the state of Indiana to its citizens. It is solely granted at the discretion of the governor to Hoosiers who uniquely brought admiration and respect to the state through their character and accomplishments. Mr. Kleesner is a lifelong resident of DuBois County and lives in the Moultrisville area with his wife Nancy, who's here. I'm sure you thought something was up when they came in. Also, some of his other family members are here. So we appreciate them being here. Mr. Kleesner has been a member of the county council, first elected in 2016, serving as board president for many years. While on the council, Mike has served on various boards and committees, including the board of directors for DuBois Strong, Regional Sewer District Committee, and Hoosier Enduring Legacy Program. One thing I find admirable about Mr. Kleesner is he doesn't just fill a seat on these committees or the boards that he's a part of. He takes ownership and deeply considers the issues and puts in the work necessary as an informed leader. He does all this to the great benefit of DuBois County government and the DuBois County citizens. Prior to his time on the council, Mr. Kleesner was a businessman and retired from Cypher Construction in 2014. Sounds about right.
Sounds right.
He served in the Indiana National Guard and U.S. Army Reserve, where he retired after 21 years of honorable military service. Further, Mr. Kleesner serves his church as well as other civic organizations. For nearly 30 years, he was a member of the Ferdinand Kiwanis and served a few terms as the president. On a professional and personal level, I work intimately with Mr. Kleesner on many projects and initiatives over the previous 8 years. And at every instance, I found Mr. Kleesner knowledgeable, hardworking, thoughtful, prepared, and invested in the greater good. I owe him a debt of gratitude for all his efforts, partnership, and his demonstration of servant leadership. I've become a better person by working with Mr. Kleesner. The state owes him a debt of gratitude for the military, civic, and public service he has given over a lifetime. As recognition for the service and his contributions to the Hoosier State, it's my honor to present the Distinguished Hoosier Award to Mike Kleesner. Mr. Lindor, you want to say anything?
If it's okay with the council, when Commissioner Blessinger asked that I help with this award, it was an easy yes. I've known Mike just since he initially got on council, and I'll echo what Commissioner Blessinger said. It was evident that you weren't somebody who was just going to fill a seat. And I do a lot of events in DuBois County in my role, and I don't think there's ever an event in DuBois County that I go to that you're not also there. So I get to see kind of statewide the exceptional nature of what we have in the district that I represent, and you are certainly a big reason for that exceptional nature of our district. So thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, sir. You want to come up and we'll hand it to you?
This is a complete shock.
Well, good. I only told 2 people, I think.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for the kind words.
oh, yeah, absolutely. You deserve them all. So that's what it looks like.
If you want to move the podium, I can move it.
Smile.
I mean, I don't think it really matters. And if the Stanley was gonna go through.
It'll make a picture.
1, 2, 3. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Any words?
I say it's a shock. The thing about this is, I enjoy every day of the road, so, I just feel, when I started this, to get in the government, when I was asked to run, I thought, why do I want to get involved in government? And he said, people like you can make a change in government, so that's why every day I look forward to serving people, so appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
Somebody if they did.
You gonna hold this or just take a photo? You wanna hold it?
Oh, absolutely. Chad, you get it here too.
I'll take one and then I'll get it. How's that? All right, no one look this way. 1, 2, 3.
Stay right there.
It's like a
You're fine.
Melissa came in and had some.
Okay.
It's somebody else in here.
Yeah. I got mine here.
Yeah, we'll get Chad in on this too.
His shoe's more exciting.
You gotta keep working.
You want it?
Congratulations, Mike.
There you go, Mike.
Very impressive.
Good job, Mike.
Thanks for leading this through. I'm awfully grateful so much.
Wyatt, I guess we'll move on with business.
Back to the boring stuff.
We're ahead.
Yeah, I'm Wyatt Madden, Director of DuBois County Community Corrections. Here today for a 100 series transfer and additional appropriation from our CTP fund. Right now, we have a part-time salary line that's not being used. It currently has $19,620.92 in it. And I'd like to move that into the director's line and the assistant director's line just to use up the IDOC grant money. That's basically the gist of it.
So he has a transfer, and normally when we transfer salaries around, I like to let you guys know and sign off on it so people know that we're just not moving the salary to pay them more. They're actually gonna use less project income money and spend the grant money. So I kind of like to let you guys know that.
So it's
So we're gonna move $19,620.92 from part-time officer.
okay.
And we're gonna split it between, the director's gonna have $10,000 and the assistant director's gonna have $9,620.92. And then we will lower the project income side.
Correct.
All right, so we'll entertain a motion. Any questions on it?
I'll second the motion.
Who
So
did?
Alex made a motion and Ryan seconded it. Further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
And then the second item is appropriating $7,400 for mattresses for our work release facility.
I have. in
Of our
cap-
CTP fund.
Yeah, out of your CTP funds, we're gonna increase that budget by $7,400.
How many mattresses is that? 100. 100? I couldn't tell you when the last ones were bought, but they need to be replaced.
I've heard from other county people, I know that there's been some bed bug outbreaks. Are these like hygienic mattresses you can easily clean if that happens?
We bought, I think, 25 when we first moved back over there. They've held up great. We actually went to a new vendor than what was originally used, so we're pretty happy with the way they're performing. I'll make the motion to approve that. Transfer the $7,400 for the bed.
We're not transferring, we're gonna additionally appropriate it.
To additionally appropriate.
Yes. Okay. So, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Thank you.
That was easy.
Yep. Have a good day. You too.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Steve, I guess you're up then. Looks like it.
Good afternoon, Steve Berger, Highway. And I'm here to ask, we still have a truck that we're needing to purchase here in 2024. And we've looked around, we had contacted a couple of our vendors earlier in the year. I think the starting price right now is about $98,000 just for the chassis alone. And that didn't even put a bed on it yet. The time now, I don't think I know there's a vendor that at least the ones that we've been talking to, they can't even put a build date in there until 25. So we're out of luck with that certain scenario. But what I would like to do, and present it to the commissioners, I'd like to present it to you as well. Back in 2019, we built a tandem dump truck for our bridge crew. We did some research and looked around for a used road tractor. Those things are usually good for about 600 to 750,000 miles. The thing when we bought it, I think it was around 300 or so, 350,000 on it. Right now it's got 464. It's been doing really well. We've had good luck with it. It's something that we stretched the chassis. We put some extra springs on it, had to do some couple things with the front end. We put a heavy box on it because that truck carries a lot of concrete, and it served us well. So what we're thinking about doing is a little bit outside the box. Since we can't get a truck built, what I'd like to do is research and get a road tractor and put a dump bed on it and make it where it can be compatible with our chip boxes and shoulder widener and all that. So, and we're hoping that we can get the whole thing done for $95,000. And what I'm asking for is for help on the purchase of it. I've got one more item that we need to do by the end of the year, but we've got the funds to do that. We just don't have the funds for this particular thing right now. So, questions?
I mean, you're not the first one to do this. What county could I go and look at a model where you tried this? You said you're building out of a tractor, right?
Mm-hmm. Davis has done it. I think Bartholomew has done it as well. Like I said, we tried it in 2019. And the guys knew what they were doing.
Did you guys fab that up, or did you have somebody do the frame stretch?
Really good. Yeah, we got a couple good guys.
Good Lord.
But yeah, we stretched the frame. I think I had to do something with a drive shaft. I think there was some stuff we had to do with some of the springs. I think the front end we had to do a little bit of work on. And I can't remember what we had appropriated back then. That was in 2019. I think we had done it all for around 65,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. And that got us a road tractor plus a new dump bed and a wet kit for the hydraulics and everything, and all the prep to get it changed over. So, and we're hauling heavy with that all the time. So. But
Can you explain, I mean, the vehicle that we're replacing this with, can you give us a little description of that? Or, I mean, what, is it something that has to be done now?
Well, excuse me, I gotta turn this thing down. If I look at my budget, like what's coming, say for 2025, and I'll be presenting you when I present the budget. I'll present you with that 5-year plan. But I think we had a quad axle on there. We've got 2 single axle chassis, one that we had moved to 2026. There would have been 3, so there's 2 of them. So there's 3 trucks there already, and a flatbed truck and potentially a superintendent vehicle. Mine's getting over. but 3 of those have been pushed already. And, you know, yeah, we can push it, we can try to make it stretch, but we've got a few of them that we've been pushing back for a while now, and it's gonna get us at some point. Probably what I see happening for sure is if we're not trying to do something to replace it, we're gonna have to get more money into our repair, equipment repair to handle the upcoming stuff. And once you're, you know, this has got about 250 some odd thousand miles on it now. You know, you could be talking about an engine, you could be talking about a transmission, you know, $6,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. Then once you've done that, it's kind of hard to, you know, you've lost that investment. You almost have to keep it for a little while and just nickel dimes you. So.
And my only concern I have is that we've already done the additional appropriations for the hydro excavator of about 84,000, right? And so then we have an additional appropriation for another truck that was this not on our list of planned in the budget? You know, you have a nice detailed list of the plans for this. Was this one not on there?
No,
for this to be budgeted for?
It was in there, but I didn't have it in highway, okay? And I probably should have done, let me move some of this. Should have done a better job of explaining that. And on the next budget proposal that I give you, this is the help that I'm going to ask for from the council. This is what we can budget for out of our highway. The only way we can make this work is to just cut roads. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And this was in here. I don't know if you have last year's budget when I had turned it in, but 212 was already in there.
Is that the number you're turning in here for
Yeah.
25?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 20.
Oh, do you? Okay. Yeah, but I'll be turning a new one in when we do budgets. So,
I mean, I spoke with, I spoke with Steve this morning or whatever was it. I mean, my only concern is, you know, we gave additional appropriation for County Road 500 East, $70,000. And we went to Safe Streets, and we gave another $81,000. The hydro excavator was $83,500, and then you know, this dump truck would be 95, or this dump tractor would be 95,000. That's why I asked Steve, could we push it off another year? You know, try to. I don't know what those, you know, you guys, Alex, you would maybe know what, have a better idea or something, or Daryl.
But you're saying if we don't, then we would have to have additional money set aside for repairs is what you anticipate?
Yeah.
And no idea how much would have to be kind of the bit too.
we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, right now,
I know,
you
that's
know,
just a guess.
repairs on some of them older things, you know, they start adding up, you know, a little bit of nickel dime stuff, but once we're pushing these things to 250,000 miles, I don't want to, it's kind of like going to French Lick.
Yeah.
There's some unproven engine
Yeah.
technology that you haven't took to the 600,000 and 700,000 yet. And I don't know that it's going to get there, to be honest with you. With some of those bigger diesel motors.
These single axles.
Well, just some of the new diesel emissions and all the stuff they put on these things, you're talking these high hours and high mileage. But you're going to have some major repairs more than likely on this stuff, on the motors side, before the kind of miles you got out of previous equipment that had less of that thing, in my opinion. And I would say on the equipment, lightly used equipment doesn't need to be replaced or proactively. I knew you guys have done a lot of work. The chip and seal things went off well, unless you hit when it was just oil for about an hour. So, but no, I think it's good. If you could justify it, it's not going to get cheaper. So.
So what are you saying, Alex, there? I mean, you're saying this is a 2011 Freightliner, right?
I'm saying
You're
that,
saying-
I'm saying on newer diesel stuff, if you don't have good mechanics, you should probably proactively change the chassis more because of just the Max Force engine that came out was a disaster. You had some of them. Did you keep them running? I mean, those things were barely kept running. Farmers had them. They put emissions equipment on a new engine and just choke it down, and you just constantly are working on it. So I think if he's on a proactive schedule to replace equipment, I think it's good. I don't know that equipment's gonna last for 1,000,000 miles like a Cummins motor from the late 90s is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you know this.
We're technically right now, and like I said, I didn't want to commit to anything, but we're looking for something pre-emission, and that's Cummins. We've had really good luck with Cummins, so something along that line is what we're looking for, because I think with the pre-emission, we're not having to deal with all of that stuff.
The mechanics know it. You can get parts. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to computer diagnose every problem that you have, which is very common nowadays.
I believe we made a lot of special appropriations. I don't have a problem with gambling on something. I trust his crew and those guys. They're awesome at making stuff work. And, you know, maybe it's time to just push it a little further and see what the life expectancy of this stuff is.
Yeah, I mean, but Steve's not good. He's not asking for new stuff all the time. He went to Louisiana the other year to get a
No, I agree.
paver. I
I
mean,
agree.
he's searching the internet on equipment sites, and you're buying stuff that's good equipment with good motors. So I appreciate that.
No, that's valid.
So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we're targeting, and we're thinking, well, the thought process was when we got this Freightliner that's a rich truck now, was that if we can get 250,000 out of it, that's what we're getting out of these new single axles now, and they're lasting about 12 years, okay? But if we can get this used tractor and make it last 250,000, we're sliding into it for less than what we can buy a single axle now for, brand new. Of course, obviously you got the warranty and stuff, but you know, trying to think outside the box. Everything is just so damn expensive anymore. I don't know. I just I think that's one way that we can, you know, keep up with the rotation. Obviously, if we push it back to 25, then we've got, you know, truck 206 and 213, which is scheduled for next year. We'll likely have to go back if we can't afford to buy, because now we're throwing another truck in there, and we've already kicked one back to 26. So you see what's happening. We're starting to get up, you know, you start kicking that can down the road, and you know, you got to sink back. So,
Is there a problem kicking it back till the budget hearings next month here in a few weeks, or?
we haven't advertised anything right now.
Right
I've
now,
talked to
it
the
would be a
commissioners. I'm going to
consensus.
talk with you to, you know, get your thoughts on it if you're okay with that. So,
If we advertise, it would be the September meeting.
and just like our equipment value, I was pulling through our inventory, and this is just equipment that's specifically highway, like our dump trucks, excavators, tractors, loaders, that type of thing. I'm not even talking about bridge or like our sign trucks or sanitation or anything like that. Our equipment value is about just over $6 million, just in the value of the equipment that we have. Last year, our trucks drove 546,367 miles, and our machine hours was 9,047. So at those rates, it just doesn't take long for stuff to pile up. And I know it's a lot of money, but I think this is one way we can buy some time.
I guess the Sandy, I'll ask you, I mean, we don't know really what's the balance in the cume cap, not even getting into detail here. But, you know, we, you know, on the, you know, we've purchased ambulances, a couple of them here, you know, we got a couple on order that we're gonna have to pay for. I mean, that's the only thing I think, you know, you tend to think this would all come out of cume cap. So I guess, I don't know, any other comments or any other, you know, I have the same thoughts that some others said, you know, let's push it off another year, but then you back up the other equipment, and you know, next year, you've got a lot of money here on trucks.
I know.
I mean, I guess you know, what got me a little bit is, you know, when we spent the money on the, you know, 500 East, you know, we made that decision, 70,000, and then that Safe Streets was 81,000. That kind of, you know, that, you know, kind of took a lot of our, you know, funds there. So
I would think I would just like to talk about it at budget time.
Okay. We're gonna be sitting here in 2 weeks from today talking budget.
And see where we're at.
Can we make it 2 weeks?
That's fine.
I think you want to, well, Steve's retiring too.
We were gonna talk about that.
But anyway,
Yeah.
you know, I mean. if
Like I
you-
said, in August, you guys can talk about it budget. If you want to still do it in 24, we'd advertise it for September's meeting.
Yes.
So we couldn't do it before then anyway, because the August meeting is, we've already been past that deadline.
Yes.
So let's do it that way,
If that makes
if you don't
sense.
mind.
It's not I don't wanna say it's not a big hurry, but I'm not in a big hurry to make it, you know, a judgment call.
Or would it be a winter project if you did get it?
Yeah, you know,
Take up half the shop?
Between late this year and early next year, you know, timing isn't gonna make a lot of difference. If we've got the money in the queue, we have to do it.
Mhm. We've got 3 road drags that we've had probably 20 years, 10 years before I was ever there. And they're shot, so I had my mechanics take a notepad and we did pull the tape. We're making our own. And we've got lift kits, the axles and everything, hydraulic cylinders, but they're building everything from scratch out of metal, and it's a fabrication shop that we got going on now, and they're gonna last us a while. And I don't know if those things would be worth buying new, but them guys are talented and they know what they're doing. And I think try to utilize them this way, I think, to save us some time and kind of stay on that rotation schedule.
You don't have any trouble with insurance or like registrations with modified equipment, do you? I just wondered how that worked. I don't know.
No, we're really not changing anything outside of just its use. Because I think the other one was a road tractor and we turned it into a dump truck, so it's gonna have the same VIN number and everything else.
If that's okay. So- and then we-
If he's finished, I do have 2 additionals that Steve, while he's here, you might want to go through.
yes.
We have, other services for highway for $60,000. And then I have Hume Bridge supplies, 30,000.
So why don't we,
The highway, 60,000 for equipment repair.
yes, so that's additional appropriation.
Yes. And that's been advertised.
So any question on that? Or- So otherwise, I'll entertain a motion of additional appropriation of $60,000 for equipment repair.
I'll make the motion.
Doug has made a motion, and a second. Alex seconded, so further discussion. Looks like you've got a question.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what's this? This is just,
In the highway fund,
we're just moving money here.
you're adding to his budget $60,000 for equipment repairs.
Okay. I guess I missed an email somewhere along the line or whatever, then I didn't. Okay.
It's really, won't we explain it? So it's an appropriate.
It's an additional appropriation in the highway fund of $60,000 for equipment repair line item.
So it's already,
It's in his,
it's in the budget.
they have money in the fund, they just don't
Okay,
go
we're
on
just
the line item.
transferring it. Okay.
It's an additional.
It's an additional, he's gonna add money to his budget,
Okay.
On the highway, right?
out of highway MVH money.
So it's really just moving.
All right, fair enough, yes.
So we got a first and a second. Any other discussion? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
And then the next one will be in Cume Bridge for materials and supplies, $30,000.
So it's in the Cume Bridge budget, and they're moving it to supplies.
And that's an additional as well.
Right. It's $30,000. So any question there?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Ryan has made a motion. I have a second.
I'll second.
Sonia seconded. So further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, Steve, thank you. We'll see your budget time also, so
Yeah.
why don't we talk, we'll kind of discuss it a little bit more on that.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. Congratulations to you too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
I wait a minute, everybody knew that he's retired.
Yeah, when are you retiring?
That's it,
See-
end of the year, right?
What's that?
December 31st. December 31st. It's been fun, it's been challenging, I'm definitely gonna miss the people. But my wife and I we're gonna be traveling, we've got kids scattered, we've got grandkids scattered around and just kind of gonna enjoy it a little bit. I had some trouble with my knee and we're still not over that yet. I've got a potential surgery probably in September, so we're still kind of pushing that a little bit, but it's time to smell the roses a little bit. So, but it's all been a pleasure.
Again, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate your service to the county.
Thank you.
Next.
Hi, Brian. We're setting up for the fest, and there's a truck parked on the side of City Hall with an Atlanta, Indiana plate, TGJ 365. Is that someone that can be moved?
It could be.
Moved or towed? No, we don't want to do that.
Do they all, just the squares, they're being empty, the
And what
side
about-
streets are open?
You're okay over
We're already
there.
on the side here.
You're okay, it's just that one vehicle, sorry. Thank you.
Guess we're gonna have to wait a second now. We can. Anybody else want to take a break? Let's take a little break before we start on the- So we can go up the comments and.
Monday night, Tuesday night. Yeah, I did. I'm in. That doesn't count.
I like it. The thing I most enjoy about it is the council meetings.
Yes.
I think it's good. The rest,
I'm with you.
it's.
It's on the camera, not like this, person's face.
No, you can just turn that.
Too nice. Never mind. That on my list.
That's a couple hour drive.
It was 2.5. More than that.
I think I checked it from my house, it's 2.5.
Highway. Yep.
just gonna stick it over there.
Diane, are you ready? Then I think we're all. You both want to come up, that's fine. So why don't you introduce yourself to the public first?
Hi, I'm Diana Fisher with Fisher Farms and Foods.
Keith Wire, I'm with Fisher Farms and Active Foods as well.
Okay, well, thank you for coming tonight. They're here for a abatement for a new addition and equipment for a facility down in St. Anthony. So could you explain a little bit to the board?
I'll give a summary and then Heath can answer any questions. He's going to be our project manager and our process manager. I shouldn't say new to our new project, but he's been with us for a couple of years. So we're planning a 13,460 square foot building addition to our current building. And it's going to be an estimated cost of $2.1 million. Then within that, we're going to have a smokehouse, a new automated burger line. We're going to have a dry aging room and all of the things that go along with that. We're estimating to spend right now about $2.8 million for a new equipment. And so we're asking for tax abatements related to those two big projects.
So they filed all the paperwork and Lynn is going, I guess maybe we can ask if anybody has any questions for Keith also about operations. I mean, they're asking for personal property and real property abatement. And, you know, the abatement committee met and Lynn's got all the results and she'll present those. But I mean, if we want on the operations where, you know, what they do there and anything that I'm sure he can answer. I think
how many new employees it will bring in?
10 to 12 is what we're figuring right now. And there will be Heath and several of the employees will be going to training classes through Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue, and then there's also other, Iowa State University also offers other training programs for processing. So there'll be some of that, and the equipment that we're looking at getting is going more to the smart manufacturing, to where we're going to be adding a line that we're going to be able to produce probably close to 10,000 pounds of ground meat, like burgers a day, with only using 3 employees, compared to now they do, you know, about 2,500 to 3,000 pounds with 6 employees. So that's kind of the whole project, is to get equipment that makes it more efficient for us to be able to produce more.
And then by being more efficient, we can be more cost competitive with the broadliners, the Iowa beef producers, and, you know, big companies.
That was a question I have. Are you guys in any quality assurance programs, like through the industry packing or packing industry, or is there anything else that you do that you can stamp on the labels of the meat that you produce?
Yeah, we're WBE, we are we're working with the antibiotic control program. They're using us to set the protocols. And then we're gonna do the climate smart.
Yeah, we're climate smart with the USDA, to where, depending on what all we feed the beef or animals, it cuts down emissions from the animals to be less invasive on the climate, I guess, and be able to be have more ground cover all year round, doing cover crops and just different additives that we can add into the feed that's natural, that just naturally cuts down on emissions.
Help several plants.
So you're doing a lot of value-added certifications, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
We're working closely with several universities to develop the research on that.
Does the USDA have to be at this facility all the time, or do they just do inspections?
They will in our processing. So we'll be since we are connected with Sanders there, the same inspectors that are over there with Sanders will come over and inspect us every day that we run processing on our side. So not the USDA, the state meat inspectors are what will be coming in.
Any questions? Otherwise, we'll continue on with the abatement process. I'll have Lynn come up. Maybe Allison from the county auditors, and she is the.
Good evening. Okay, so on July the 10th, the Tax Abatement Review Committee discussed the application for Fisher Farms Natural Foods LLC, and we did the scoring, and that is what I'm here to go through. So for personal property abatement, for the new investment category, they had listed that they were going to invest $2.6 million. The score points for that was 28. New employment, they listed over the course of the 2 to 3 years would be 10 full-time, 3 part-time. That scored 15 points. New employment wage level, based on what they said that they would hire at, scored 28 points. The targeted business bonus points, we gave them 5. Use of existing vacant structure, 0. Use of local suppliers and contractors in project, because this is the personal abatement, is 0. They offer tuition reimbursement, continuing ed, clean and safe workplace. They scored a 4. And years of operation in the county, they scored a 5. So the total points is 85. So based on the point score, the applicant would be eligible for tax abatement on the following schedule. Year 1 would be 100%. Year 2 would be 80. Year 3 would be 60. Year 4 would be 40, and year 5 would be 20. So if the council adopts the proposed declaratory resolution, a public hearing on the proposed tax abatement as outlined above will be scheduled for August the 26th at 4:30 prior to the council meeting. Then let's move to the real property abatement. Again, scoring. The new investment was $1.7 million according to their application. They scored 26 points. The new employment, same numbers, 10 full-time, 3 part-time, they scored 15. Same new employment wage level, scored 28. The targeted business bonus points, they scored 5. Use of existing vacant structure, they scored 0. Use of local suppliers and contractors in this project, we gave them a 10 based on who they had listed. And again, for the tuition reimbursement, continuing ed, clean and safe workplace, scored a 4. Years of operation in the county, they scored 5. So the total points for the real property abatement is 93. Based on that score, the applicant would be eligible for a 9-year abatement, with year 1 beginning at 100%, year 2 at 90, year 3 at 80, year 4 at 70%, year 5 would be 60%, year 6 would be 50%, year 7 would be 40%, year 8 would be 30%, ending with year 9 at 20%. And again, if the council adopts the proposed declaratory resolution, the abatement will be scheduled for August the 27th, the public hearing at 4:30. Any questions?
Are we gonna get copies of any of this?
We can, absolutely.
Sure, let me see it before I make any kind of decision. I don't, unless I missed an email or something.
Here, I have the,
Oh, it was email. Was it? Well, I missed it then.
and there we are.
I must have missed it.
I did not send it out.
I don't think that, yeah, it's just the availability part.
Have I missed it? I'm sorry. Okay.
So, I mean, tonight is the night to ask the questions, you know, I mean, you know, what, St. Anthony, I think originally, they were, you know, when the Otter Clan factory closed up, you know, we just, you know, it was, you know, we had a resolution of economic revitalization there. So it's set, that is kind of set in stone to try to get new industry into that area because of the jobs lost through the closure of those plants. So, I mean, that's, you know, it's been probably 4 years now, you know, when we passed it on the original.
That was in
structure.
2016, if I'm not
Yeah, so it's
mistaken.
been more than that. So we, you know, it's a revitalization area, so that, you know, that, we have to have that set first. You know, it has to be in a revitalization area, economic revitalization area, and it qualifies for that. So the, you know, the abatement committee only, you know, scored the application on the points like Lynn went through. You know, we don't make it really, I make a recommendation, we only score, and it's up to the council to approve it or reject it. I mean, I think, you know, what they're, I mean, the only thing I can say very positive, I mean, if it's in an area there that, you know, we need to revitalize that part of the county. They're selling these products basically all over the state in the University of Louisville. I mean, it brings that money into the county and creates that employment, which is a great thing for, you know, for the county. I mean, this is kind of how we, you know, again, I don't want to speak, and maybe Lynn, you sat on, maybe you can say a few words. So you sat on the committee. I mean, it's a
And
committee.
we have scoring recommendations, and then, based on that, there is a schedule. What they score is our abatement schedule. So personal, the max is the 4 years, and then real can go out to 10 years. So based on the scoring of the data that they submitted, this is the proposal.
You know, I know how it's supposed to work, I
What was the
I
max
didn't
for
have
personal?
any information to know what's going on.
4-year abatement.
You have
For personal.
I thought you got 5.
5, I'm sorry, is it, yeah, it's 5. 5 is the max that our policy will allow, and for real is 10. And they scored enough for a 9-year abatement on the
And I guess I don't see any of that in here.
Well,
That's-
I mean, that's kind of a, you know, that's
That's not-
that's a real, and maybe that's my fault for not getting, you know, that was written by the county attorney and
Okay.
adopted by the council. The procedure was, and that was modified in.
So this will go on the north side
2017.
here, this will go on the north side of your existing facility, is where it's gonna end up being? Okay.
I feel like it's a lot of jobs considering the highly automated nature of food processing nowadays. I mean, and I'm sure you guys are being conservative, you're not blowing smoke. So I think it's really good to have that many people, and you guys, like you were alluding to with all the automation.
I'd also like to add, we still are partnering with Sanders, like our buildings are connected, and they are gonna be continuing to add employees too. They actually had 6 new employees start today, gearing up for our back to school.
So it's a continuation of what you guys have been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sanders just won't be able to keep up with our growth. Like, so our growth is outgrowing Sanders. So in order for us to continue to grow our business, we have to grow into our own process. Because Sanders basically said, this is how much we can do from here, you guys have to run with it from here. So that's why we had to move into our own processing facility.
And then start automation.
What
Start down
percentage sheet
small.
was that Sanders was running for you guys? They told us, and I forget.
I would guess they're running, what their Sandy plant runs is probably close to 90% as far as, so they don't have a whole lot more to continue to process what we're expecting. Part of that Climate Smart program was at the end of 5 years, we're supposed to be up to 90 head of beef and like 120 to 130 hog a week. And right now, we're currently doing about 40 to 45 head of beef, and I think it's 80 head of hog. So we have to jump those numbers quite a bit over the next 4 to 5 years. We're going to be producing at least double what we are now.
Are you guys in the Indiana Drum commercial campaign? I haven't seen your picture, but I was sure that you'd be representing our county in that campaign, so that's good.
Yeah, like I said, we're part of the Indiana Drum.
Okay.
Actually, our marketing director she helped start Indiana Drum.
You better be in it.
So do you, again, maybe I have to apologize for not getting the resolution, or not the resolution, but the adoption that we had done as a county, the abatement process. Probably should have, but, some of us that's been on here for a while have been through it, but, do you feel comfortable voting on this tonight, or?
I do personally.
Doug, do you?
I do.
I think it's, what we would do tonight is, approve the request for the economic revitalization area, and then we would adopt the declaratory designation. So we would still have the option to, we gotta have a public hearing, and then we would vote on it, as a final. We have to have a confirming resolution. So, we still have the option if you would look into it, and I'm sure they would welcome you to go out and see it and see what they're doing. And then we could, we would make the final.
I'm fine.
On August 26th is what we're looking at here. So, and I think Lynn, you could forward the whole.
I can,
Sure.
sure.
Because we're gonna be facing probably
applications.
other abatement process. It's just not something we go through very
No.
often. And then it's, I apologize for that.
I do too, I should have sent it ahead of time.
So, but, so is there any, you want any other questions for anyone, or do you feel comfortable, Eric, making a decision tonight?
I do.
We went through this, like she said, they're still under an abatement process. They're.
Right.
For,
But,
because,
we weren't early enough the last time for the full amount.
Right, you want to assess, I think, for the personal, because it was only personal property.
Because we started building before.
Right. So,
and you were in here like a couple months ago when you had all your paperwork that you fulfilled all the obligations.
Yeah.
And we approved it that night.
Yeah, no, I remember that, and I remember it wasn't personal because you didn't get it done in time. I remember getting caught up on that the last.
So we would make a approval for the request for revitalization area, right? There's two proposals here that we have to pass.
The declaratory resolution has just both
Yes,
together.
yes, it is.
So you just have to pass the declaratory resolution.
Okay, that's part of being part of the economic
Yes, it's a
revitalization.
resolution of the Du Bois County Council designating a portion of the Du Bois County, Indiana as an economic revitalization area. And it references the three ordinances, 2012-01, and then it was amended in 2017, and then again, it was amended in 2021, and that's when the schedule based on the scoring was listed in 21.
And then the results, again, should have. So I'll entertain a motion then to adopt it. Adopt it. Okay, Alex has made a motion, I have a second.
I'll second.
Doug is seconded, so all in favor, say aye. Any other discussion, I'm sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So we will set up the meeting, and I think it's for August 26th at 4:30, Monday, it's a Monday. And
It'll
then
be the public hearing.
Yes.
it would be a public hearing, and then we would close the public hearing, and then have our regular meeting and adopt it if we're all on board with it then.
So then we should come at 4:30 on the,
On the
26th.
26th.
That will be the only thing on the agenda.
So, and thank you for coming in.
thank you. Thank you very
Like
much.
I
We're
said-
very excited.
So,
I'm sure.
again, reach out to them if at any time, and if you want to see the project, that would be great.
Makes 4 burgers a second.
That's exciting, down
That's
to size in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think, I've been there for 2.5 and we've already doubled since I've been there.
Well, thank you.
It's hard.
And Lynn, thank you for.
Thank you.
For coming.
Thank you very much.
We'll change the number on the top.
We can reference it.
Yeah.
There's someone who should do that. Sure. She said it like that.
That's all good.
That's, yes, we might.
That's the specials. Joe, you're,
Right.
I keep.
So, if everybody can get that on their calendar to the 26th.
I think I've heard from
She sent out
everybody
that date for all of you.
Yeah.
Do we not?
Got those.
Yeah, it's just you and me signatures.
Meeting date? I didn't have the calendar.
She sent out an email last week and a lot of you said you didn't come.
Everybody responded,
Even
and I
when
don't
that
have
had
heard
been a
from
regular council meeting.
No, because we're meeting twice earlier in August.
That's right.
But because of the dates that it takes to advertise, you have to have a public hearing by itself, and we have to advertise all that.
See, they've worked. We've had this, honestly, we've had this in our hands for a couple of months already.
Yeah, well, you can see that we received it June 14th.
Time you set up the engagement committee and the. just
And they have to have that before they can proceed.
Yes.
Before they can do anything.
They can start.
So we okay with everything?
Yeah.
Anything, and then you send everything else.
So we'll advertise for the public hearing, and then
I will
about
do that tomorrow.
15 minutes later, we'll do the regular meeting.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And if
Thank you.
you maybe have a separate email on this.
I
to the
will.
council, if you don't mind. I appreciate it.
Sure, certainly.
Sheriff Tom, are you ready? I think we're running a little late here.
No, you're fine.
So, if you don't mind coming up, and I think we got a few things here, and we'll, I guess we'll just go according to the agenda. The sheriff, courthouse security officers, and the benefits, we're gonna look at getting that passed. I think that was,
Right.
approved, and the commissioners did approve those positions, correct?
Correct.
So what we're gonna do tonight is, I think we got 2 things here. I guess we gotta pass the salary ordinance first, and then we're gonna pass the,
Well, there's a couple of salary ordinances.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was
Yeah,
working
I'm
on that.
We're just waiting for you, I'm sorry. So I guess I was gonna go by the agenda here, courthouse security officers and benefits. So, I guess we got a salary ordinance.
Well, I have 2 security officers, which would be an additional appropriation of $41,626. That's for, is it 10 pays or 11 pays? for the rest of the year.
I think you had it on 11 page, 11 payroll.
And then the benefits benefits would be, FICA is $3,185 and PERF would be $4,662.
Would you suggest we make a motion for each one of those?
Well, I need them separate because sheriff is one, commissioners is the other. The commissioners always have the benefits in there, so.
So does everybody got the chance to review that? I mean, we're all on board there with the understanding of
41,000.
620.
620.
And then the salary ordinance that goes with this would be $1,892.02 biweekly. And I put 11 pay periods, but it's probably only 10. I think there's one at the end of the year that goes into the next year, but I put it in here just to be safe. So there's probably more than I need, but not much.
Do you want to finish with Lynn first before we make these motions?
I think we're finished, so sorry.
All right, so let's start out then with the 40-some thousand dollars in for additional appropriation. 40,000.
41,626.
So I have a motion to.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Ryan has made a motion. Meredith has seconded, so any further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
How's the grant coming along on the equipment over there? Any word on that?
No, I actually just talked to Narissa today, and she said they won't hear anything until October, or September. So it'd be, yeah, it's not that far away. But they'll approve it, I think, by September 30th, and then the money is there October 1st. So, if they can approve.
So then we've got the commissioner's benefit, under the commissioner's benefit budget, FICA and PERF. And that amount was,
FICA is $3,185 and PERF would be $4,662.
we can approve those as one.
You can do those as one. I just separated them so you know the different amount.
So could I have a motion to approve that? Motion. Alex made a motion. Meredith seconded. Further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And then the last thing here is on this is the salary.
Yeah.
$1,892.02
bi-weekly.
$1,892.02 for two positions. So that's each. And their positions are full-time positions. The employees will work 40 hours per week. A maximum of 11 payroll periods will be made in 2024. And we would fund it in the 2025 budget for 2025. So I'll entertain a motion to approve that salary ordinance.
I'll make a motion to approve that salary order.
Okay, Ryan has made a motion, second. Darrell has seconded. So further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so we'll move on.
I guess they can start tomorrow as soon as I get the budget order from the state. Which that's just me, that's me getting it inputted.
Over here first. Okay, so next on the agenda here was the Justice and Mental Health Deputy Sheriff Social Worker salary ordinance. Again, that was approved and it's paid out of this grant.
The Justice and Mental Health Grant that we've been working on for a year.
At least a year.
We, they did the pre-planning, in planning and implementation. It was finally approved, so now we can move to the next phase that they launched or they released the
They
funds.
released the funds.
Oh, that's, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
When will this position probably start?
If it's approved tonight, August 12th.
We need to start this position on a payroll clean week.
Okay,
Yeah.
Because this position would be sheriff pension and current, if it's somebody currently in perf, you can't cross the two on a pay week. You can't pay both, because it's based on a gross pay.
So again, this is for 2024. JRAC, Deputy Sheriff, Social Worker, and salary ordinance is $2,462.42, bi-weekly maximum.
I think you guys discussed it in March, but you tabled it, you never made up.
We have to approve this for him to hire. So I'll entertain a motion to approve that salary ordinance for 2024.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Darrell has made a motion, I have a second. Alex seconded. So further discussion? So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So I think that settles that. And then we have, sex offender, you want to handle that one, it's $500, is that what it is?
He had came last meeting, I guess, and talked about needing supplies for the county sex offender, and you guys, consensus was to advertise for $500. It's for supplies. I think you said office supplies.
It was, yeah.
That's additional appropriation, $500. So I'll entertain a motion, there's discussion on it.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Doug has made a motion, we have a second. Sonia seconded, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So we've got that one out of the way. Okay, the next one here is the sheriff commissary resolution. Last meeting, we were presented with that and kind of tabled it to get further information. Maybe it's set up over the accounts, and they, the only real comment that was made was I think the only comment, this was the lady, they're a post audit agency that we sent it to, so they really can't tell us, if it's kind of up to the, until it's being audited, she can't tell us if it's right or wrong, you know what I'm saying in that respect. So, but just, her only comment was, when you just add a dollar amount, it leaves a lot open for interpretation. That was part of her letter. So, I think we've had discussions on this. My only concern is some of the requests. It seems like the state statute kind of gives us the guidelines that we have been living with for the last so many years. I don't think I remember ever passing this type of a resolution. I know it was presented back in 20 or 2021, but it was never, I think it was either pulled back off the table or it was dropped, but it was never voted on. So we've been living under the statute, and I think I just want to open it up for the discussion of the rest of the members, council members here. I still feel that the guide ought to be that we live by the county handbook. If the expenditures legal, I guess, or, qualifies under the employee handbook, then I think
then I think we would have no problem with spending money in that respect. So I'll open it up for the council to make comments.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It is clearly stated that it is tax money. That's taxpayer dollars. I thought that was interesting. That is taxpayer dollars. I thought learning that was interesting. I personally am not in favor of doing the resolution. I would suggest we just stick with Indiana's code. And if I had to make a motion, that's what I would make. Open it up for discussion. I don't know why we would change it.
So any other?
Yeah, I mean, I got the same opinion I had last meeting. I think the local government's the best. I think the sheriff knows how to handle the commissary. You get the feeling that maybe I'm kind of alone in this opinion, but I can't imagine. I've known Tom for a long time, so I can't imagine there's some misuse of funds that would be egregious. So I think he can handle the commissary well, and I'd like for you to be able to do it. I don't feel like I need to control.
So, I mean, again, my only comment was, if it's not an eligible expenditure through the county handbook, I mean, then, I guess, how do you, can you answer
I think
that?
state statute should rule it in any transaction that he does, but I don't know that the sheriff's department would need to follow a rule that may not be applicable to them. It's more for other departments that operate a little differently. That's how I interpret it personally.
The only thing that I would like to say is the only thing that I like to do with it is do some benefits for my employees. For gifts for them, a Christmas party for them, a funeral expense for one of their family members or something like that. That's primarily what the target of that resolution is for. And I get it, I can come into the council and ask for those expenditures, but by the time somebody's funeral is tomorrow, I have to wait till next month to see if I can spend an amount out of it. So that would be giving me the leeway to just do it as needed.
The tricky part, and that I'm kind of struggling with, is we're elected, I guess, officials, and they're supposed to be like checks and balances. And if we just give blanket approval, we've kind of, I don't know if abdicated is a word, but I think that might be the right word. We've given our responsibility that we have to the taxpayers as being part of the checks and balances. We're maybe giving up part of what we're supposed to be doing. That's the part that I struggle with. I really don't know what the right answer is, but you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yes, I get it.
Because we're elected to be, So I don't know. Maybe that's not a very good way to just say that, but I'm just trying. That's the part that I maybe struggle with, is being able to.
Totally your decision.
So I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. Like I say, I think different than a little bit, because I guess I feel my hands. I would be in favor of modifying the resolution, but I still think it would still have to, for me to agree with it, is that it would have to meet the county handbook, employee handbook. I just keep going back to that. I mean, I think certain funeral, like the sheriff that died, those kind of things I think are possibly special. But my thought is, if my wife would die or something, I would think, just like we did the other, a month ago or a week ago, we all just contributed and bought and chipped together, I guess, and did something. I could see it for, this sheriff that passed away. I think it's a little different, and that's where I thought maybe, you would come in and ask us, and, I would have, it's a little different situation. But, you know, in the same way with parties or Christmas parties, I think I said this quite a few years ago. What I'm concerned about is when you you don't have we lose control, like he's saying, you know, you have a party, well, can you, what's the limits of that party? Can you go up to a restaurant and have everybody and their spouses and their kids and have a party? And I just don't know. We don't do that as a county. That's what I'm torn there, you know, so I don't know.
So you alluded to the past officer that maybe passed away. How do we handle Terry Tanner or the handbook? I didn't know.
Well, that's what I say. He would come in and ask
But
us.
how did we handle it? How was the rule set?
It was
What Tom could do? What did we do? That's recent. I don't know.
Well, they did it privately because we didn't.
Okay.
It was just, I mean, we didn't have any control of it because it's really under that, right now it's under that statute. But it doesn't meet, you know, see, that could be a different case, but I mean, if we're gonna start, you know, and I don't wanna talk about funerals, you know, funerals all the time, but I'm just saying birthdays, you know, are we gonna, when I have a birthday, you know, or Jesus has a birthday, so we're gonna take taxpayer money and buy him a birthday gift? That's what I'm getting at. It doesn't, you see what I'm saying? You're using taxpayer money to, you know, to enrich somebody else.
But the countywide election gave him the discretion to do that within the.
Well, as long as he's using state statute, I have no
Within the
problem.
rule of the law.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what he
I mean, we're not trying to change the rule of law.
We won't get that done here, I don't think.
I don't know, so we have to, if somebody wants to.
I mean, I would make a motion to deny the resolution as it's written and follow the Indiana Code 36.8.10.21, which is the Indiana compliance code that the sheriff should follow.
Okay, so we got a motion on the floor.
Can you say your motion one more time?
I was gonna say, I don't think you need a motion, it's, if you just don't take action,
I would have to deny it. It was offered to us as a resolution, so we have to either deny it.
So my motion was to deny the resolution that was requested and presented to us, and we follow the Indiana Code 36-8-10-21.
I think that's clarification. So we got a motion on the floor.
So you were wanting to do things outside of the state statute?
yes, stuff like the funeral, the
Just
Christmas
funeral,
party, and
Christmas party.
Well, there's a whole list of things that's in that resolution.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to, I've read it.
Yeah,
I get a lot going, I'm bringing it in.
those were the main, the other things are,
I thought the hotel thing, that was just a county, right, on the hotel radius?
yeah, that's a county.
That's, okay, that was what I was more opposed to than going outside of state statute. State statute, I think, is important. But the additional county rules, I didn't feel like were applied in this situation.
Well, we're acting on this resolution that was given to us last month. This is where we're acting. You know, we're not trying to recreate the, you know, I mean, we're trying, you know, that's the motion on the floor, so I guess I'm looking for a second.
I'm seconding that one.
Okay, Meredith second. So any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Opposed.
So then the next thing we've got is, I had spoken with you, Sheriff, about trying to, you know, I think we all toured the jail, and I appreciate you and your staff giving us those tours. Maybe some of us didn't, but I think to have.
They did an excellent job with the tour.
Yeah, to have a better understanding, you know, the jail, it's changed a lot, you know, and, you know, it's there's a lot of footsteps to get to different parts and to handle the prisoners and I spent 4 hours up there one morning, and I really, it was eye-opening to me. So what, I had spoken with the sheriff possibly of, I know he got a few additional deputies in his budget for 2025, but I think the understanding, and maybe I'll let you all voice your opinion, but I just feel we need to probably move on this pretty quickly to get these guys help. So, I'd like to, for the council to consider 4 new jailers and try to fund them, as soon as we can. I'm not saying immediately because we got to go through the process here, but I just want your reaction tonight on what you thought. And I think for 2025, just so we're all on the same page, we would not have any new jailers to begin the 2025 year. See how this works out, and if it's still we're short-handed or whatever we want to call it, then he would come in and talk to us again. Does that make
But again,
sense?
you're acting, now you're not saying to discuss it at budget for,
Get
you're
moving on
saying
this.
we got it out.
I mean, after the tour, I feel like I saw the need.
Mhm.
I mean, they're running, I feel like a skeleton crew, and the distance they have to run and the people they're watching, I would support that.
I had a hard time trying to figure out just how many would be appropriate because of that.
Have you looked through the budget and determined that it's something that it can fund?
I have done that.
There's money there?
I haven't got into detail. I thought we'd try to fund again under the general, but
I just want to make sure that there's money, like we have the funds, because
Well, we are still putting together the budget, and I go to the state rep next week, so at the end of next week.
because last year I looked through previous years and saw that money was kind of going down. So I just want to make sure that we're not putting ourselves in a situation where
This is a need, in my opinion, that we have to.
I don't
understand
disagree
exactly
with
what
that
you're
one
saying.
bit. I don't disagree with that one bit.
I had to watch Jesus go down and
we need
get
to make sure
involved that day that I was there, and you weren't on staff, you weren't there working as a jailer, but you had to get involved when I was there.
I feel, I guess to answer your question, I feel personally, I think we can still fund it out of the general fund, but I mean, we will have excess out of the CNR money, and that's what we passed the CNR budget for. And I know it sunsets in now 17 years, but then I think at that time, then we may have to look at an additional funding source. But we will have excess funds to do these kind of things, and that's why that was part of passing this. Not only the jail reconstruction, but its rehabilitation of the jail. So
yeah, I just want to complete my thought in what I was saying earlier, what I was trying to get across. But I just want to make sure we're responsible for the financial health of the county.
Right.
And I just want to make sure that we honor that responsibility and make sure. I don't disagree that there's not a need. There is. I just want to make sure that we are responsible to the taxpayers and make sure that we can fund these positions or these new positions. That's all I'm saying. That's all I wanted to say.
I didn't mean to interrupt, I apologize. I wasn't trying to cut you up short.
Anybody else that want to make a comment, push the tour, or do we all?
I think we also have to be respectful of the safety of the employees and,
Oh, yeah.
that work there.
Mhm.
Yeah, and all the extra time they put in and trying to cover each other's shifts and if someone's sick or out or whatever. So they are running a very, very tight shift there.
I agree with Sonia. I mean, you could have an overpowered officer situation. You could potentially have a county lawsuit that could hurt us due to the inadequate staffing. So financially, maybe it takes it a little further and we're preventing something that could be catastrophic.
Like I said, I see the need for it and I agree with that. I just want to make sure that we're keeping everything in mind.
I mean, we reviewed it. I reviewed it with the auditor. I mean, it's not that expenditure is, and the other two
officers that we're hiring at the courthouse, I don't believe is gonna overwhelm our budget at this point. I mean, I think we held our wages down to a level that we can do these kind of things. So,
Like I said, we'll calculate it in general fund. After next week, if I come back on the 12th and say he says we have to cut, then we know we have to move things.
that makes sense.
Well, I will say too, that if we get if we get four and we get them trained in, I can make that phone call and we can start possibly holding DOC inmates too for other counties. So that'll be some kind of generation of funds also.
Well, thank you for doing that. That's. So I guess we'll just have a show of hands who would support the four officers, the four jailers, I'm sorry. So it's, so that's as far as we can go tonight on that one, right?
Commissioners would have to approve the four.
Yeah, they have not approved.
They have not, and we'd have to set a wage thing, so I wouldn't be able to advertise it until September, so we've got time.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
would you present, and I've talked to the president of the commissioners, and he,
Yeah.
I mean, he knew we I was gonna bring it up tonight.
Okay.
And I think they support it also, because they.
Sometimes it's just the timing of the meetings, you have to do one before the other.
Right.
And then this is not something that I don't think the council has to act on. And I called you about this, there's the SRO position for Tim Lacker.
Yes.
He was a M-Pole last year, he's 2024, I guess, and he's changed for the 2025 budget to a C-Pole 3. And under a C-Pole 3, what he's being paid is not sufficient. We have to change that classification.
He's making more than his wage lesson.
Yeah, I think Mike and Brooke called me
Okay.
last week when they were talking about it.
So this is not something we would do, the commissioners would have to do it, and through Markey, HR. So right now, what I'd like to do is create a C-Pole, under C-Pole 5, he would be called create a position, civilian employee, special deputy status, and that's what we put in the minutes when we create or when he changed positions.
Okay.
So just so you're aware of that. So again, I don't know if I have to present that to the commissioners, or would Markey do that?
It can be anyone.
So it would be civilian employee / special deputy status. And it would be a C-Pole 5, and then he would fit into that wage scale, or wage classification. So, I just wanted to address it tonight, so we're all on the same page. I believe that's all. And the last thing here is we did receive the commissary report for January through January 1st through June 30th. You had sent that to, I think, so what I want to do is again, it's our responsibility to oversight that expenditures. So, the committee, I didn't know, Ryan, you had expressed that you'd like to sit in on that review, and Meredith said she would continue to do it, and I think at this point I would like to sit in on it, if that's okay with the council, unless someone else, Sonia said on the last time, I'd like to rotate some people in and out of that thing.
Sure.
Anybody got an objection to that?
Good group.
Pardon me?
It's a good group to do it.
Okay,
So
it would be Ryan, myself, and Mary, we form a committee and review this for 6 months. So if we, we'll get into that. I think.
So you're gonna review January through June?
Yes. And I think what we learned at the council meeting last time, if you stick with the same committee every time, then we have to have public meetings, is what we learned. So if we rotate them out, rotate people around and have different things, then you don't have to have a public meeting.
You guys remember that?
I don't remember that.
Subcommittees do say, yes. If you have a subcommittee, you do have to start advertising it.
Yeah, right. I mean, well, it was that attorney that sat up there and told us.
Yeah.
You know, That didn't either.
That's why I like the abatement committee, we have to advertise them.
The only question I have on that is I know that there's been some comments about not getting it to you. I can get it to you on January 1st and July 1st. We typically wait until we can finish up that month.
Sure.
Because that month is not going to be, so it might be, is it okay to come the 5th or 6th
Oh,
of the
yeah.
month instead of
No
the
problem.
1st?
I think it's just cut off.
That way it cuts off the
And
month
then
at the ending
in a
balance is there.
I feel in the time we basically time.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to listen. I think that's all I had.
Yeah, I know with our reporting over there, people have till the 10th of the month to get us the month before.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
So anyone else have anything for the sheriff?
Going through.
I
this,
just like to
there is a lot
reconcile the books before.
Kind of number and all that stuff anyway. Make sure you got it.
So do you want to make any other comments or?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, thanks for coming in
Thank you.
tonight for spending
Appreciate
the
it.
time to do that. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So do you want me to just put like the 10th of the month or the 5th of the month, or what do you want me to put?
If they're due, you mean to the.
Just fall in line with everyone else, right, the 10th.
Because everybody over there has to by the 10th of the month.
Yeah, let's just do it. Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
It just makes it cleaner.
Gives them an extra-
It gives them time to balance and.
So we got pre-truck.
Pretrial diversion. I kind of alluded to this last month. Beth has a victim's advocate back here, and that grant goes from, it starts October 1, 2024. Well, the one we're in currently started in 22, and it'll end September 30th of 24. And they don't build in raises and they don't build in the benefits and stuff for that increase. And so she takes the difference out of pretrial diversion. Well, we found out that this grant is going to be short. So she asked for $10,500 to make sure it's not short, to get her up through September. And then the new grant will start October 1.
Okay,
If she doesn't use it, it's going to stay in pretrial diversion.
okay. Does everybody understand that?
She's not going to make any more money. It's just to make sure there's enough grant funding. Because the grant goes like 80-20 split, and when you give raises, it skews that.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to have them transfer that, or make an additional appropriation out of the $10,500.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Doug has made a motion. I have a second.
I'll second it.
Ryan seconded. So any other further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed?
I have 2 transfers in the ARPA funds. You, last time told me you wanted me to spend $1 million towards health insurance. So I took that out of the health grant
Yes.
and I put that to the 1 million.
Discussion on that? Otherwise, I'll make a motion to get that transfer, $1 million. Meredith seconded, so further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
We probably really don't even really need these, but it just keeps it cleaner so we know how much is in what line item. And then the other transfer, I'm doing the same thing. We are getting ready to upgrade our storage to this fall. We talked about doing some computer work. This is $129,922.25. I'm going to take it from the help grant and I'm moving it into the computers so we can keep track of it.
Everyone understand that? I think we talked about that.
Yeah, our nibble storage is going out of service in October, and so
So
What was the amount? 129,000?
129,922.25.
I'll make a motion to approve that transfer.
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
The last thing I have is an amended salary ordinance. The commissioners we've cut back, we no longer have a full-time librarian. We're cutting back to a part-time librarian. She's gonna work 3 days a week this year, and then in the budget, they're gonna make her go 2 days a week. I did not have a salary ordinance for this position as a part-timer, so the max pay would be $19.09. She's I forget what her COMA 3 going to COMA 2, I believe. I don't have that on here. I just wanted something to max it so they couldn't pay her the max pay of a full-time person.
Everyone understand that? So I'll entertain a motion to approve that salary ordinance.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Doug has made a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Sonia seconded. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
The only other note I have on here, Mike, is the St. Charles Annex paying for utilities.
Okay, on that, the 911 moving out of the health department, we kind of thought, right now, the maintenance of that building is under the, janitor, what's his title?
That's okay. We have a St. Charles Annex Maintenance Fund that was set up when WIC started renting space in there. They paid $1,500 a month. And we put that in a dedicated fund set up by council that was used for maintenance of that building. We've talked about maybe possibly paying utilities out of there, but I can't do that because you guys have set that fund up as a maintenance fund. If you'd want to amend that and say now it can be used for utilities, then we could budget for the utilities for next year for that, for the health department.
She said she's simplifying it for me.
Makes sense.
But I mean,
Now,
the thought is that if we start using it for utilities, then when we have a big expenditure, then we won't have the money in there. There's a balance in there about, I'm guessing, $40,000.
Right.
So if we start using that every month, I think it just came above again because 911's moving out there. Now it's kind of one building, which is the health department. So
which we kind of brought up the thought that they have health money. Should they not be paying some utilities? Should they not be starting to take on some of those responsibilities that the commissioners were doing for them? And so this was kind of a discussion that Sean and Mike and I had.
All this money they've been getting, nothing for utilities?
They haven't budgeted any utilities. They haven't budgeted any car insurance. They haven't. So we kind of brought these things to their attention that other departments are paying this. Other departments with funds, like the highway department, community corrections.
Will this
Seems like
affect,
we want to try to make it uniform, then, but we would take on some of that responsibility.
the only issue right now, he's already got his budget approved for the state, so he's saying he can't find the money right now, but I told him in 2026, he's gonna have to start paying utilities.
that's what I was getting ready to ask, if this is gonna affect any of the grant funding, because that's the main revenue stream for the health department now, is grant funding. We just don't want to jeopardize it.
Well, they do have other grants and they do have their property tax money that they still get for the health department.
Okay.
Yes, that would
But like I said, we didn't
I mean, it's.
I'm just saying, so there's no unintended consequences by doing this, is what I was asking.
But it's technically staying the same.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying, except where he's offered, or he thinks he can find the money to pay the auto insurance or the vehicle insurance, and liability. So he's gonna do that, but I told him I'd really like for him to start budgeting with this Health First Indiana money, utilities, which, which seems only fair because, well, I still feel when you got control of the thermostat, you're gonna run, you're gonna turn it off at night or just lower it and stuff, which, and he agrees with it.
Can we use that maintenance fund just for 2025?
Well, if you guys approve, because like I said, right now, the council set it up for maintenance of the building.
It's technically gonna get paid, through the same, kind of the same thing, except.
If you choose not to change that maintenance fund, we can leave it where it is. It just comes out of county general right now under Scott's budget.
That's why I thought my suggestion would be just leave it alone this year, and then when he comes in to talk to us, ask him, he's gonna have to start budgeting. Right now, it's torn because when 911 moves out of there, their utility is gonna go down. That's 24/7 operation. So it's his, he'd have more control of the utilities, I'll say that way. So.
I think that makes sense, and then you give some of the time to prepare for that then, so keep it as it is.
It's all coming out of the same pocket this year anyway, so.
Yeah, right. So.
Well, I think one of the concerns was if the roof or walls or whatever, you won't have the money there then that you thought you would have. So it's
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So we'll, at this point, just put in the minutes that we're gonna leave it and that the health department would look for utility funds in the 2026 budget. I think that's what we want to put in the minutes.
I can do that.
So, okay, the airport, I just want to report the airport, Frosty Jones Terminal. I talked to Greg last week, and he just said that their attorney is working on it, and he never had any further, what's going on there. So we don't have anything else on that, so we won't move on appropriating any money at this point.
Now, I did put that in the 2025 budget.
Yes,
Or not?
I think we should, because we kind of committed to them.
The 500 is definitely in the budget. The $1 million loan,
Does everybody agree with that?
put that in the budget as well.
Yes.
Then we can always cut it next if you want to change it.
I think, I only have, just go over the meeting here. I'm gonna ask for public comment at this point, if there's any public
No
comment.
public comment, you guys are doing a great job.
So the other thing is, again, the AIC, it's the total conference, the whole Indiana, the auditors and everybody. So that's on September 23rd to the 26th in Switzerland County. Again, Tuesday morning, they always have that meeting of the county council for 4 hours, which is usually very good. They update you on what's going on with the legislature. Problem is, we got a meeting Monday night, on the evening, on the 23rd. So I think a couple of us, we drive up, or go down there, I guess, or over there after the meeting, and then stay Monday and Tuesday night, and then come back.
If you want me to do your registrations, you just have to let me know.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to do your your hotel.
Yeah, if you would do that for me.
And me.
And
So that's all there, and then we'll get the rooms.
That is the 24th and 26th?
23rd, yeah, 24th. Is that right?
Be the 23rd.
23rd is that Monday.
Sorry, I was just looking at my calendar.
Yeah, sometimes I may go and I may leave in the morning. Or I may stay at my daughter's and go from there.
I would like to do that too, but then that county council thing's in the morning, so. I mean,
Right,
that's
and
the reason.
the affiliation meetings are always the first thing, and mine would be the next morning too.
So,
Can I get with you? Can I check my work schedule?
Yeah, you guys can let me know. I think we have until
it
mid-August or
says
something.
early bird is August 19th, deadline. So we got time. I mean, the next, we talked about the next meeting.
Registry is one, certainly.
Again, feel bad about not getting that abatement stuff out to you, but I guess
Lynn will send it to you, that's
I
okay.
just, I guess I forgot that we got a lot of new council people.
Well, the thing with those things is it's really kind of difficult to know who and what and how and where, because you don't do them that often.
And I did sit down, just so you all know, I did sit down with Brooke a little bit and talk about the sheriff, revising that budget for the couple of deputies there that he, and then Tim Langford. She gave me a preliminary budget, and I'm going through it line item by line item to see classification wise and that kind of thing. And when we get a little closer, we got 2 weeks yet. But I mean, she could run one for anybody if you want to review it a little bit before.
Well, we should have the final one, hopefully. This week's a payroll week, so it's kind of a little harder. We should have the final ones for you guys to have at least a week before the meeting, so.
So if that's okay with anybody. I just went through it because she asked me to, just to review it a little bit. We had a couple questions is why.
We're trying to highlight, like, if they're asking for more than 2% and new positions, we're trying to make color
You did
codes
that
on there.
last year.
Right.
So I mean, we'd still have time to, and I think we should take the time before the meeting and get our questions together, because we don't want to stay here till, our goal was to try to get out of here after so many hours, and if it's 12 hours or whatever, because it gets to be mind-bending.
I do have everybody scheduled, and you're scheduled at least until 4, probably 4:30 at least, so.
So I don't know if everybody knows, I got a letter, Ed Cole, is no longer with, from Du Bois Strong, so if everybody knows that, they're looking for a replacement. The last thing is, one of the last things is at the budget hearing on the Monday, we always go out for lunch or maybe bring lunch in here. I was just thinking, where would we, everything's closed on Monday, but I did hear that OINC is going to close on Sunday possibly and open on Monday. So, I mean, we could go there, lunch is usually on the president, so. Nice. But,
You go.
and then ice cream's on the, candy's on that.
Oh, I got the ice cream lined up.
No, so,
Donuts.
I don't know if we'll check into it, otherwise, I think, I hate to go real far. I mean, Snaps would be the other place, or only.
Snaps open on what?
Nope, they're closed on, they still closed.
I mean, most places are closed, and they may be closed down here, so we would, I thought maybe get sandwiches and, if everybody just order a sandwich, what is it called, Jimmy John's or something like that, we could just bring in there and have sodas, something, then we wouldn't have to travel. The thing I don't want is that, like last year, coming there and people are, we're late, which I don't think is professional. So.
We had lunch last year.
Doug and I were working on
We had a working lunch last year with other.
I think we brought you lunch.
Yeah, you did.
But who wants
And
to
we
be in charge?
appreciate it.
What's that?
Lunch.
I can do lunch. You guys can send me Jimmy John sandwiches and I'll just order them. Let me do that.
Yeah, and then reverse your phone.
Thank you. Take that off my plate.
Just wanna email me or Jimmy John's, or I'll send you guys a text or whatever.
Yeah, because I could have got the rewards for
You can do it.
You go ahead.
No, I already got a free pickle.
So Sandy, do you have anything else or?
The only thing, like on the 14th, I do have a Huntingburg Public Library is gonna need an additional appropriation. So they're gonna do that on that 14th meeting. We have it scheduled right away at 4:30. And then I think the Northeast DuBois Fire District is also gonna need an additional appropriation. And since you guys are their agency, so we may put those first and then go to the meeting afterward.
Right. And that would be video, right?
Yeah, right. We will not be live for the budget hearing date, review dates, but we will be live for the 14th meeting.
Okay, anyone else? Or-
I got a question and something I was gonna say. So were we able to help Southeast schools with a GIS layer for the bus routes? Never heard anything.
I think Sheila got, they got a hold of her over there and she connected them to WTH.
So that was no problem.
Mm-mm.
And then I was on the ground at the fair all week chasing hogs and dogs and stuff. And Carson got a lot of compliments. I mean, not directly to me, but you hear me. He's got looking good. I camped out there. They pivoted, 4-H council pivoted, saved the fair basically on children attendance. And Carson is cool as a cucumber. He didn't buckle under pressure. And I thought he did a really good job. He was a good hire for the county. And he had the place looking top. I know he struggled mowing in the campgrounds in the spring with all the rain, but a lot of positive feedback on Carson with what he's doing out there. So.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Thanks for sharing that with the council here. I think he does a great job too.
He's just not hopefully too good that he leaves us right away.
No, let's hope not. Meredith, you have anything to
I don't, I should have a meeting coming this month for region 15, but
of his report in the jail here, the security center, everything's basically turned over, except 911. Again, they ran into a phone issue, so he couldn't move. He was supposed to move last week, and he couldn't move because he didn't have all the phones. Somehow that got overlooked. And he's got Matrix that doing that now. He's moved it to the, I think, 25th.
20 something.
So, I mean, we're, Sean Warner's about ready to pull his hair out, because he needs that space pretty bad. But we have a meeting here later this week, like a final walkthrough with the general contractor. There's just issues that we need to take care of yet, and the roof, with that major rain we had, roof leaks, those kind of things, and roofer has been on them to try to solve it. We haven't had any real good sufficient rain since then, so we can't test it, but there's other just smaller items that we need to get completed before I'm gonna, it's not all me, but I'm just saying before I could recommend giving their retainers back. We were holding quite a bit of money on all three contractors, but I think it's our leverage, and until we get this mostly satisfied, I'm not in favor of it. So.
Regional School District, what we ranked 46.
Yeah, I mean,
on the positive development.
Is there any movement on that? Are we gonna do anything with that, or we just don't get any funding, or?
I don't know. We
didn't get an answer, but it's not on the fast track. How about let's just go with that.
What's the reason, Darryl? Is it they don't think it's
From what I understood, we scored higher, but we ranked lower because there's more projects in there now.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
More important projects now.
Yeah.
46 out of 50 out of 100.
We're not in the top 45, so they're not even gonna fund all those. So we went down in the rankings. I don't know how many.
We went from 4th to 40
Yeah, so, but we scored higher as far as a priority, but there was like a bunch of people, dropped in. So that wasn't a positive.
No, that's a disappointment in a lot of ways.
So they've kind of stopped design and everything.
They stopped spending money.
I will say on a positive note, I went to Honeyburg City, Honeyburg's wastewater treatment plant grand opening, and they broke ground and they're just all kinds of ready to treat extra influent if they would ever get it from the county, so. At least that plant's gonna be,
Maybe we could go the other direction.
We might have to pivot.
Yeah. Okay, nothing else? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to close the meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Joe made a motion, a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Council is closed.